Okay. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. So today I'm going to present about spending money among students. So before I start, let me introduce myself first. My name is Nur Auni Akila binti Yusri and my student number is 2025-080936. So before I start my speech, I would like to share with you guys a common questions um, that are mostly a common question that will ask from a student in the end of the month, which is where all the money go. So as a student, we spend most of our money without realizing how quickly the money will disappear. Many students find it difficult to save our money wisely because some students tend to enjoy the money with themselves, and the other students will save the other student will save enough money for important needs. So as a student, I've also experienced it, and I believe I qualify enough to share with you some information about this matter. And I think this topic is also relevant to us since we are students. So ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you a pie chart by a student named Saravana Kumar R about the main spending categories among students. So this is the pie chart about main spending categories. It show that um, it show that students this chart represents um, a students response towards main spending categories. This chart show that students spend their money on various needs such as education, transportation, food and dining, entertainment, fashion and personal care, gadget and technology, and others. So overall we can see that the highest main spending categories is on food and dining, and the lowest main spending categories is on others. So let me share with you key features of this chart. For highest spending category, we have food and dining, which is 21%. Um, Students often buying meals from outside of the college, and which is we know that the the price is more expensive, and I think they are also need to pay for the delivery fees and maybe the tax. So next, for average spending categories, we have four categories, which is transportation, entertainment, education, and gadget and technology. Okay, the first one for the transportation, which is 19%. These are for students who are living outside of the college, which which is they need to travel between their home and college. So they also need to get a grab if they want to go for a specific locations. So next we have entertainment, which is 70%. For me, it shows that students tend to spending their money on their own interests, rather than on education, which is education we have 17%. And I think these categories is really relevant to us, since it's really relevant to us since because we need to pay for the tuition fees, and also we need to pay for the education items such as books and stationery. And for the last part of our average spending category, we have gadget and technology, which is 14%. And as you guys know, nowadays technology is very advanced. So this I think a students it technology is very advanced. So students tend to spend their money to buy uh, updated get gadget or the latest gadget, so that they can make their work more easier. So so I will go for the last part for my key features of this chart, which is the lowest spending categories, which is on fashion and personal care, which is 8% and others which is 4%. So um, we can see that students tend to we can see that students um, less spend their money on a non-essential item. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have come to the end of my speech. So I can conclude that the main spending categories show that students nowadays needs to prioritize their basic necessities to ensure a stable life in the future. And we can also ensure that in the future we have a save we have the saving enough for the comfortable life in the future. So that's all from me. Thank you. So now I would like to pass this session to Fatul.
Thank you, Avni. First thing first, let me share my screen. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Nur Fatul Afifah Ramli. I am 20 years old for this year, and my student ID is 2025221 and I am from class AS213131B. And today I will present to I will present about spending money among students. And for my introduction, before I start my speech, I would like to ask you, if you are given extra money, what will you do? And do students spend extra money to feel more happier? And how often you spend the money? As you guys can see, these top pick student will buy if they have more money. As example, they can buy a food, they can buy a accessory, they can buy a book, they can buy a purse, they can buy everything. And then there is a pie chart of this is a pie chart of extra money given among students. As we can see, as we can see at a pie chart are taken from advances in social science education and humanities research volume 401 40 470. It represents what students will buy when they have extra money. The data we collected the data we collected by a group of researchers from University Technology Malaysia UITM. Overall, overall, overall from this chart, we can see that student will buy a food and beverage other than spend their money towards food and beverage compared to sport and entertainment, electronic gadgets, beauty product, books, investment, and shopping. It is because food is our food is our daily consumption. If we can if we can if we can buy a food, how will how will how will we can live? Eh, And overall, from this pie chart, we can see student Students tend to spend their money towards food and beverage compared to beauty product and shopping. Other than that, students also spending their money towards both electronic and others. And now let me now share the key features of this chart. The pie chart The pie chart illustrates how extra money is distributed among different among different spending categories. The largest portion is 37% is spent on food and beverage. This showing that most student priorities are daily consumption, followed by shopping and electronics. Gadget is 18.5%, indicating a balanced interest in personal items and technology. Meanwhile, sport and entertainment follow with 11.1%, while beauty product represent 7.4%. Only a small amount is allocated to book and investment. For ladies and gentlemen, I have come, ladies and gentlemen, I have come to end my speech. According to pie chart, students have to save up their money by spending carefully and wisely. Students will learn to look after the pennies, and the pounds will look after themselves. We develop good financial in future. Thank you.